What's up everybody? Thought I'd share a few things with you that I've been doing over, well, been quite some time now, playing around with this kind of thing for about a month, or with plaster work anyway. But I just thought I'd talk about our base shit and basing stuff. It's a big part of the hobby, do you know what I mean? And you can make a bad model look good, or a good model look bad. And there's loads of different ways you can go about it, do you know what I mean? People seem to quite like this column on there, so I thought I'd just discuss. If I go out of camera, sorry, because I have to look two ways. Discuss how I made one of these, and I've got some of the plasterwork bases I was working on, which is like a cracked earth with some footprints in. So I just thought I'd discuss how I've kind of done these. I mean, this one, this is for like Titan. It's a big bit of chipboard. And what I did to get the effect, like, I got some plaster bandage, and I just laid it out in a circle, cut it round, so I've got like a complete layer of plaster bandage, not wet, dry. So I just wanted it as a mesh to support the plaster. And literally what I did is I got some card, put it round the base, hot glue gunned it down with a hot glue gun. Give it a lot of glue, hides it quite well. Taped up the edge, hit it with a bit of like mould release just around the edge, do you know what I mean? Make it a bit waterproof. And pour the plaster in. And when it had dried, which is just kind of plaster, so I've used a lot of different plasters and there's a lot of difference. Some stuff's just so soft it's just no point using it, but I use this casting plaster. It's like a industry standard and it dries really hard. You can hit it with a hammer to break it, to be fair. But I put the slab down anyway on there, let it dry, and then I picked it up, and because it's got the mesh underneath the bandage, you get one slab, and then I just cracked it and broke it and cracked it and broke it and broke it and got it into the cracked earth shape that I wanted, and pulled bits out, and you can go back into it and carve and stuff and things like that. And that's kind of how I got that earth effect. Like, it just stays in a big sheet that you can just move around, and then I just PVA glued it down to the base. I mean, I'll put that to one side. So I'd say that, I mean, it's not rocket science, that's quite straightforward. I mean, to make a column that size, I'm going to show it to you. I mean, this is a plaster column, and all the rest is like a foam ball that you buy with sand and dirt textured to it and that, and a few bits and pieces. But how I get the column, so I'd get a little bit of wood. So you get a tube, whatever sort of tube you want. I'd hot glue gun it down, so it's got loads of glue on it. Blast it with a mould release again, and then I'd just fill it with plaster. I mean, that just gives you a straight plaster column. I did experiment with other ways of doing stuff. I mean, I put rebar in to a mould and actually cast it in to the plaster. Now, I think that's a good way to do it if you want to hack someone up, but you've got to get the rebar the right scale for the model you're using. If that's the difficult thing. At the moment I'm just using stuff I've got lying around. I mean, it would be better to order like specific thickness of rebar, like the meshing and certain things, depending on what model you was building for the scale. Because if the rebar ain't right, it just don't look right the scale. It's like with anything. But when the tube's dry, the silicon, literally the plaster, you just pull it off. You'll find that the tube's just a one use, and you just roll it off, and you just get a solid plaster column. Like, this is only got little ones left. There's some little tiny ones I made, and then literally for the littler ones, you just drill some holes in the top, get with a bit of rebar that you want, or metal, whatever, and then you would just build the rebar that you need, glue it into place, and then just tip lots of rubble in there into the rebar with glue, super glue it all in, kind of fill it up until you've got like that kind of blasted shape. I mean, you can see what there. I mean, I was with this one. I was considering when I was doing it, you can build the wire, and actually put a cap on it. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like just that section's been blasted. But it's all to do with the model. I left it like that because it just fit this model better, with it not being so big. But there's a lot of ways you can play with the columns and practice. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that it's like the painting the miniatures. The more you use something, the more you have a go at it, the better it gets. And it's just one of those. I mean, it's took me a little bit to just get used to working with it. I mean, you see my plaster pot. You keep everything. All it gets used on your base. Do you know what I mean? It's a pretty quick way. I mean, you can cast anything. You can cast slabs. I mean, Dennis did a nice one with some slabs, and to get a more square bum. But you can literally get a box, spray it up, and build a shop front. I mean, there's a lot of decent scale model blogs as well, with a lot of nice plaster tips and stuff. You just have to find them. Do you know what I mean? And look around quite a bit. Even when they're in foreign languages, it's still kind of work from the pictures. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's a little chinwag on what I do, basing wise, with plaster work anyway. So take care, folks. In a bit.